this kind was certainly a bit of an advance on how it had been, say, 100 years before that, because farther back, fires were in the centre of the floor of the house. There was a central hearth, and the hearth that gave light, it gave heat, and it was the main cooking fire for the home, of course. But over the years and the changes to Shetland life, this new way of arranging the hearth was devised, where it was built into this recess in the masonry, and that allowed it to retain a lot more heat. As the masonry warmed up, that meant that we were able to have a bit more control to the fire, I suppose. Now this item that we see here, I'll move the fire tongs, is to do with the cooking process. What they did when they were ready to cook something was to let the fire die down a bit for what it's at the moment, because you can see here that the fire is flaming up a little, and that wouldn't be the ideal time to cook. You'd probably wait maybe 10 minutes to allow that to die down a bit. But when you were ready, what you'd do is you'd take the tongs and you'd rake out the peats so that it was covering a wider but lower area, and you wouldn't have any peats left by that stage. You'd more have a pile of glowing embers. And of course this stone had hotted up because it's been lying at the back of the fire not just that day, but the previous day and the previous month and months before, as well as this. So it's acting as a storage heater too, so there's a lot of heat there. And you take this thing, what we call the brand iron, and the brand iron, it wasn't for branding, like branding a cow. This is to sit on top of the brands, which is like the glowing, well, people called them coals, but they weren't coals, they were peats, of course. This thing is set on top of the glowing mass of peat. I'll set it out here to simulate what it was doing, and this thing hotted up, of course, and that then became your gridiron on which to fry fish, or you could make a kind of what we call the brunny, which was like a bigger version of a bannock. To us today, bannocks tend to be small individual portions, I suppose you could call them, whereas a brunny was a bigger cousin of the modern day bannock, and it was obviously more effective way of cooking on a big thing like this. And one person might get a whole brunny and could break it up and either eat the whole thing, or it might be broken in half between two people, or broken up smaller for more. And fish could be fried on here too, and any fish oil would drip down through into the peat and help keep the fire going. So it was all very efficient, but that's how the brand iron used to work.